Well, now that we are in the harvest season, a lot of soybeans and grains are being placed in storage bins. It's a time of relief when it's harvested, but it can be a time of danger. Grain bins can be unsafe, however, when the grain inside them becomes stuck. Unsuspecting farm workers are killed each year across the United States as they try to get the grain flowing again in these bins. Delta Rice Services of Cleveland and Webb, Mississippi has developed a way to break up the grain inside clogged bins and then get it moving again without endangering its employees.
There's always ways, if you'll slow down and think about it, how you can get something done without getting somebody hurt.
It's a simple device. You could call it a life preserver since it keeps Delta Rice Services employees out of danger. Red Smith and James Coaten came up with this device which breaks free bridged grain without putting a person in the grain bin.
And some people think the best way to do it is climb up in the top and poke a rod through it. That's the wrong way to do it. People get killed doing that.
Grain is normally moved out of a bin by opening doors in the floor. The grain falls into an auger under the floor, which then moves it outside. Sometimes the grain bridges over the unloading doors. A cavity is formed so the grain stops flowing. The danger comes when a person tries to stand on top of the grain and attempt to break apart the bridged grain using a rod or pipe. The bridged grain can collapse into the cavity, and like quicksand, the person is quickly engulfed in the grain, suffocating him. The weight of the grain makes digging yourself out impossible.
2 or 3 years ago, we had an individual up in the Pontotoc area that was engulfed in grain. Entered the bin, had a cave-in like that, and the unloading auger still on. And the result was death.
The Delta Rice Services device is the result of trial and error. For the device to work, the sweep auger on top of the bin floor must be set out of the way before the bin is filled. This allows the metal pipe access to the loading doors in the floor and the auger under it. DRS has modified the loading doors on its bins where it can open the center door independently of the others. The pipe is then inserted in the side of an already full grain bin using chain winches, also known as come-alongs. A steel device with set screws gives the come-alongs a way to attach to the pipe. It can be reset each time until the end of the pipe is positioned over the unloading door in the center of the bin, as shown in this bin with no grain. A high-pressure plastic air line is then slid into the pipe and into the cavity where the bridged grain is located. A portable air compressor provides the power. The whipping action of the plastic line breaks up the bridged grain, allowing it to flow out. Best of all, no one is put in danger. The metal pipe can also be laid on the floor of the bin prior to filling, so it is already in place in case bridging occurs. The plastic air line carries the added advantage that if it becomes caught in the auger, it won't damage it. This method also allows the grain to be pulled out of the center of the bin and not warp the bin.
It's very low cost, it's fairly easy to install, and it's effective. If the pipe were put in ahead of filling the tank, it's even better. From that standpoint, there's less labor involved to put it in.
Smith says they have only used the device in rice bins, but he feels it should work with other crops, and if it saves one life.
Nothing is worth, or I don't think it is, nothing is worth a human life, any material good. All these grain bins over here is not worth a life.
If you're interested in more information on this story, you can watch it again on our Farmweek website at farmweek.msucares.com. Delta Rice Services is also more than willing to share its experience with the device with anyone.